It's time again to look at the amazing things people throw out as rubbish. There's lots of toys, lots of barbecues, and signs that people are making the right choice when buying vacuum cleaners. I'll also reveal the 3 things you will find in every Australian's home. This will shock many people. And I'll also throw in a snippet of very honest and useful YouTube advice because that's what everyone asks me for. Let's do it! Well, it's that time of the year again, people are putting their rubbish out. I'll be looking for Dyson vacuum cleaners and very cool toys that people throw out as rubbish. The first thing I can see, just up the road there, is some vandalism. Let's take a look. Okay, so what this is here is a box that the postman uses to put mail in that he can't carry around, and it looks like street vandals have come and tried to rip this box out. Naughty, naughty. Well, here's a curious double act. There's a coat hanger there that I'm not interested in, but seeing this cheap Chinese Ozito sander doesn't surprise me. Buy cheap, buy twice, it ends up being thrown out real fast. Ooh, nice bit of older furniture. Not like the stuff of today, which just falls apart. I'm quite surprised this is thrown out. But then again, it's a bit of an older styling. Yes, your cheap IKEA furniture of today is nothing like this. This stuff here is like real timber. And it looks like it would have had glass doors at the back as well. So at one time it would have been glass doors on both sides of that cabinet. I can almost guarantee that before the pickup day happens, which is about a week and a half away, this will be hopefully picked up and lovingly restored. Whoa, look at this find here. It looks like some sort of amazing car racing toy. X-Trek. Do you know anything about X-Trek? Are you excited by seeing this? Well, looking inside the box there, it looks like it's all there. That's the sort of track that it is. I've sort of seen a knockoff version of this, I believe. And there's some sort of, looks like controller here, almost like a programmable controller. There's the track and there are the cars. The curiosity's killed the cat here. I've got to take a look at these little cars. Oh, it looks like they're remote control. You've got a wire hanging out the top, and there is this thing here. Some sort of controller. Wow, it seems fairly fancy, I tell you. I wonder if it's got batteries in it. Oh, look at that. It still turns on. And there's a picture on the box artwork there to show you how the layout looks. Wow! Well, I better put all this back away. Very curious little toy indeed. Very curious. It is amazing what you see thrown out on the side of the road. Ooh, a classic car, a classic toy. And there's something I learned about these toys when I did some research about the Thomas and Friends Little Tikes torch that I found. This little car here is one of the highest selling vehicles of all time. And if I remember to put a title up with the number, how many it sold, I'll put it up on the video. Oh, it's got some great dashboard detailing, nice steering wheel. Looks like this one's a convertible as well. It's got some nice all-terrain wheels on it, nice smile and some big googly eyes. Nice wide door opening to get in and out easily, and it's even got its own little petrol cap. And yes, the horn still works. Anything missing is the key. If I had the key, I could actually turn it on. Oh, sounds like we're starting up. We're starting up. Absolute classic toy. I actually see a lot of these out on the roads on the scrap days, but this one is in very, very good condition. It wouldn't take much to tidy it up and go driving again. Well, you do find everything on these garbage days. Looks like a nice rabbit hutch. Luxury for rabbits indeed. So often inside these there's redback spiders and things like that. Ooh, I bet you they're in there. It's the sort of place I love. Well, I sort of said those little tykes were fairly common to see on the rubbish poles. There is another one, but it looks like that one is in nowhere near as good condition. Mind you, it looks like you could still play with it about the top on it. Also looks like an earlier model with the low-end petrol cap. And if you're into plastic sun-affected dump trucks, well, there's a party here going on of these two guys. Oh yeah. Well, here's a curious pile. It's one of those pokey soccer game things there, but it's upside down. And I'm normally looking for vacuum cleaners in this, but it looks like I found one. And it's one of these toy guys that looks like this. It's a play school vacuum cleaner. Look at that. It's got a bit of a feature in there. It still works. Eyes are googling at me. Bring it on! Bring it on! I do like the smart attachment here. I wonder if it collects spiders. Dare say it wouldn't. But nevertheless, it is amazing what you see thrown out. Absolutely nothing wrong with this toy. It looks like it had some sort of sound feature or something. You can go and do all sorts of stuff with that, I'm sure. Okay, here's a vacuum cleaner. It's called a Hoover Core. It's completely packed out with dust here. It's only a little thing. It doesn't look that used, does it? But it's been thrown out. So what's that telling you about the Hoover Core? One scourge of these inexpensive vacuum cleaners is the way they're built. Often they break so easily. You can see this one is broken and tried to be taped up and repaired. As so often with these styles of vacuum cleaners, buy cheap, buy twice. It's very common to see toys like this thrown out. It's sun affected, it's mega blocks, it's some sort of car trailer. It looks like it would have been a whole lot of fun, but it's had its day. My daughter had a toy like this. I remember it had farming and animals. I can barely say the word animal, can I? Also had a farm in the front there. It played noises, so that's a toy which I know goes back at least 10 years. But the one that I am most impressed with is this metal Tonka fire engine. I've got another Tonka fire truck, and I think these things are completely awesome for the fact there's so much metal in this thing. When you pick it up, there's a fair bit of weight in that as well. It's a very, very heavy toy. Up here, even though it looks like metal, that is actually plastic. And it's been brittle, it's been in the sun a bit, but nevertheless, it's an impressive toy. Yes, in there would be spider zone, so be careful when you're playing the toys on the side of the road. There's the fire cap details there, very much like a real fire engine. It's missing its lid there, but when you look at these sorts of toys, they are just made so differently versus what you see today. The metal gauge in this is quite amazing. For the fact there's bits of plastic in it, hey, that probably gives away its age, but nevertheless, I think even to someone who is a collector of this, they could pull bits and pieces of this to save another fire engine, I'm sure of it. Well, it must be the season to throw out barbecues, because for some reason I'm seeing heaps and heaps of barbecues being thrown out, and here is yet another example. And you sort of wonder yourself, well, what's gone wrong with these? I dare say this is all this cheap Chinese made stuff. Yeah, been quite a few of these about when I've been looking at the rubbish piles. I told you it was barbecue season, and here is yet another one. That's the bottom base. This is the top. Yuck, that one's gone. It's a dead one. On that whole notion of seeing things that are very common on rubbish piles, these leaf suckers or blowers are, I think, one of the most common things I see being thrown out. Just about every time these things show very little wear and tear. They must be a fairly unreliable sort of unit. Let's see exactly what this one is. Well, there it is there. Of course, it's Ryobi, made in the People's Republic of China. And I dare say that it would have had a bag or something under here which would have collected the leaves, but nevertheless, very, very common item. I told you it was barbecue season. It is winter time here, and I dare say winter time is when you throw your barbecue out. But is this real stainless steel, or is this a fake stainless steel? Do you know how to tell? I don't. Wow, it's got a very heavy lid. Extremely heavy. What's that telling me? And that's the, well, parts of that missing in there, but boy, oh boy, these barbecues are a very, very common sight. Well, I'm down where the wealthy people live. Wealthy people live in all sorts of parts of the suburb, and so do the poor people. And often where the wealthy people live, they throw out some quite astonishing things. Well, there's an RC vehicle here. It looks in pretty good nick to me, but then again, how would you know? I don't know how much it would take to get this up and running again. I mean, just as a push-around truck, it has to be lots of fun, wouldn't it? That's the way I'd play with that. Now, I can see the truck here, but I can't see any remote-controlled stuff. Maybe I've got to do some more digging. Oh, digging right down here to some sort of, like, car case. Looks like a semi-trailer sort of thing that you put your cars in there. I don't think it's Hobbles, it's just generic, I think. Looks a bit cheap and, yeah, I think it's just a generic toy, just a bit cheap and nasty, that one. Now, is that the remote for that car? It certainly looks like it. I'd say that belongs to the car that I have put over here. I'm pretty sure that's a pair. So it says Ford F-150 there. On the remote also says F-150 on the vehicle. So that's a matched pair. Yay! On this tub here, what is going on in here apart from maybe spiders and things? Looks like some more car stuff. Another car down here. I think they're just cheap cars. Well, that there is a computer case. Yeah, they've stripped the hard drives and the guts out. That's the right thing to do. Never put your hard drives out in the rubbish pit, because people come and get all your info. Well, there's one of those kits. It's a Haynes build your own V8 engine. The box is empty, but down by the side of the box, there's part of the kit. I think we're missing the sump. I hope I'm right there. There's the instruction manual there. Maybe we'll find all parts of this if I keep looking around. Oh, I know this one. My daughter's got one of these. It's a Nerf ammo box in Strike. What does it say on the side here? Death to all who touches. Oh, I better not touch that one. That's got me curious. I wonder what's inside this. What are we going to find? Oh, well, how about that? Nerf bullets, yay! Well, these people have got like an express post packet here. They've actually left their name and all the info on stuff. What you got to do is, if you're putting rubbish out, you can't have any personal info on things. But hey, look what I found here. Remember those? It's one of those Raptosaurus things. I think they're pretty expensive toys. Wow. Quite amazing find. First off, seen one of them on the rubbish pile. Well, these sorts of toys have been around for a while now. I don't know its date. It's in such fine print underneath there, but I dare say the audience is going to tell me when these guys were roaming the planet. Also a toy here. I don't know what it is. Fisher-Price, the little people's thing, I think. It would have been an expensive toy. Look at that. It's got an action going like that on the hay bale on the back. Yeah, it would be nice to have this down at the charity shop where it would make some money for like the people that I help out. But no, it's on the rubbish pile. Well, maybe I should take it down there and do the right thing. Well, remember I just spoke about this bag here. It's got the address. Okay, this address is right next to where I'm sitting. Okay, so you can work out on this rubbish pile exactly what these people have got in their home, especially if you're putting out rubbish like this. Now, I would never be putting this sort of stuff out in the rubbish pile, boxes like that, because all it does is it reveals to people outside what is laying inside your home. Okay, so you've got to be very careful these days, because people will so often come and profile exactly what you're getting up to by what's laying around outside your home. There's another box here. I'm covering up the address of where this Big Pond stuff has gone to. Bad move. You can't put the stuff out in the rubbish piles. Inside this box, it looks like there's a couple of ADSL splitters in there. Never used. So yeah, sometimes it is very interesting what you find in the rubbish piles at the right end of town. Well, it's another rubbish pile, isn't it? Yay! I think over there, that white thing is a heater. That orange thing is one of those vacuum, sort of sweepers, I think is the best way to say it, but they were always useless unless they've been modernised. But what I like here is this metal clearway sign. Hey, look at that! I'm taking that one home. I think it looks cool. Oh, look at this here! Wow! Oh, can you believe it? The golden era of trams. The Sydney Tram, a pictorial review out in the rubbish piles. Oh, wow! On the back page, there's a picture here that shows the old network, which is all gone now. Very sad, isn't it? I wish we had the trams back. And on the back is a stunning picture of an old Sydney tram. So often, piles like this can bring out all sorts of good stuff. Well, there's a whole bunch of, looks like beer coasters in there. Some sort of Thai company. What's that? Some little remote control from the General Lee. Looks like some sort of video cables there. Some sort of power adapter. Leave that box, looks like rubbish. Actually, there's one thing in here that I like to use. I use little panes of glass like this a lot in front of my cameras when I'm doing my video work. I'm taking that one. That's a keeper. And try and do the right thing and put things back as you sort of found them. Yeah! It has really been the season of let's throw out the barbecue. What is this one? It is a Jackaroo. I'm pretty sure all this stuff is just your cheap Chinese barbecues. That's what the inside looks like. And they just don't really last that long. Bit of a higher end model, this one. It's got one of these. Could be spiders under here. Ugh. There's a thing to cook there as well. In fact, I think they're stainless steel burners, and that also indicates a higher end model. Well, it was a Rolls Royce model, even at a temperature gauge. I'm trying to work out the year date, but I don't think I've got a chance. Well, we have become people who are addicted to, let's say, things made inexpensively in China, although this may have been a fairly expensive purchase in the day. But I have seen so many barbecues out on the rubbish piles these days. Quite amazing. Well, down there's another Plastic Fantastic. I think it's a Fisher-Price toy. It's got some sort of thing. It would have been Little People toy, that the little people run around on that. But the thing that I'm half impressed with is this wooden workbench. And wow, it's even got a saw here. Look at that. All the fun of the fair. It's got a vise. We need vices in life. You learn lots of things from vices. But nevertheless, it's quite a stunning little toy. Just give this one more spin because I love to play. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! And hopefully that's the brand name of that lovely workbench. So imagine little stories that workbench could tell if it could talk. Oh, well, it's really toy season, isn't it? And look at this thing here! It's like a giant diesel 10 sort of thing. You can get your hand there and go rah, rah. Wow. It says excavator on the side. It's got great big rubber treads on this thing. I dare say you're sat on this thing, and if you're sitting on it, I'll do a simulation of digging here. Looking quite crazy. Okay, I'm going to try and dig over there. But I don't know how to get the boom down. I don't know how it works. I don't know how it works. Nevertheless, quite an impressive toy. Quite a heavy toy as well. I'll just leave it there. Someone will love it. Well, there's one of those old oil heaters there and a bit of weightlifting equipment. But if I go here, guess what, guys? It's another barbecue, but this one's got a nice gleaming red top. It looks fantastic. What's it called? The Grange? Is it like Grange Hermitage or not? What's it like inside? Ooh, like all of these ones we're looking at, they're all chewed out. Probably a billion spiders in there. There's a closer look at the control knobs. It's one of them Jackaroo barbecues. Also got this bit on the side, extra hot plate there. Ooh wee! Quite unbelievable, the amount of barbecues. Almost embarrassing, but hey, we are Australians and we love to barbecue. This one here, like all the others, it doesn't look that old. One of the Rolls-Royce models had the temperature there. Ooh, it's a bit chewed out inside. Yeah. There's a look at the knobs. I know some people get off looking at knobs like that. Yeah, it has been the festival of the dead barbecues. Well, that there is a paper shredder. Didn't Aussie 50 say that was the brand that had the real mega one that you could basically feed anything into and it devoured it? I'm not sure, but what's more interesting to me and to you is this Tonka truck here. Okay, I think this is a fairly recent toy. I say that for the fact that we've got a lot of plastic going on in this one. Even though the top there's all metal, if I look underneath, it's plastic fantastic. And I've got a feeling it's this sort of stuff that sort of is worthless. It really is trash. Now there's one thing I noticed about the later Tonka stuff. It develops rust really, really bad, but you don't see this sort of rust on the classic stuff if it's been left outside. I think there'll be many people who will concur with me that rustiness is all part of the cheap and nasty styles of Tonka toys. But hey, if it was designed to last, we could then pass it down through the family onto the next generation and we wouldn't have to buy another Tonka truck, would we? Well, as I walk towards the sun setting in the west, I better wrap up this video. I love looking at the rubbish piles around where I live. Very simple, very inexpensive videos to make, and people ask me, hey Leo, what can I put up to YouTube? What's something a little bit different? What's something that most other people aren't doing? Because everyone's jumping onto the same thing at the moment, which is really sad to see. Well, I say to these people, do something that's pretty close to your heart, because if you present stuff to YouTube that you know about, that's 99% of the battle in being successful on YouTube. I think I can explain all the barbecues in this video like this. In Australia, every Australian has these three things in their home. The first one is, of course, a barbecue. The second one is a jar of Vegemite. And the third one, and this is a secret one, is a pop album by the group ABBA. And you have to go back to the 70s to understand this. Every home in Australia has an ABBA album in it. I guarantee it. And actually, there's a vacuum cleaner just over here. Let's take a look. Well, that there is the sun sinking in the west, as I spoke about just before. And that there is a vacuum cleaner, and it doesn't look that old. There weren't many cleaners out in this looking at rubbish. A Russell Hobbs. Do you know about Russell Hobbs cleaners? Well, it says HEPA Cyclonic. Everyone jumped on the Cyclonic thing because of Dyson. Yeah, look at that giant filter there that's going to get clogged up, I'm sure of it. Oh, yep. That's what you see every time. And it is just so common to see these little, I don't know if they're cheap, but these little cyclonic dreamers thrown out in the rubbish piles. And this one has still got its electrical cord, which is quite amazing. That's what the head on this one looks like. The accessories on these cheapies are nasty. I wonder what these people bought after this one. In fact, I think I know. Look at that there. That is what those people bought after buying this cheap and nasty rubbish. And I know some of you will be saying, oh Leo, that was fake and gay and you set that one up. I did not set it up, guys. This is a, what is it, DC54 multi-floor vacuum cleaner box. It's a bit better than the one I've got because it's got the double stack of Cyclones here. This thing is going to give heaps and heaps of value to its owner, even though it would have cost the mint to buy. And usually the boxing of Dysons is really nice as well. That's one thing I know because I've unboxed a few. Yeah, of course there's no cleaner in there, but I like looking at the boxing I'm like that, you know. And on Dyson Boxings, it talks about cleaners like that there. If we take a look at this read, it talks about bagged vacuum cleaners that get all bagged up and blocked. It talks about cleaners like the one we just saw on the ground there, where the filters get blocked, and I showed you that. But this vacuum cleaner here, none of that monkey business goes on. And apart from the double tiers of cyclones, this one's got those little things that wriggle that stop the dust from collecting on the cyclones and clogging. I haven't got one of the cleaners with that on there. I wonder if Mr. Dyson can send me out one. And there's a picture of the stack of cyclones and boogie that does all the fine particle dust separation. Well, if ever there was a picture of chalk and cheese in a video of mine, well, there it is. Well, there's one thing I can guarantee, it'll be many years before that's put out in the rubbish pile. It had years and years of service out of that. We already seen that one on the rubbish pile. Goodbye, good riddance. There's also this box here of what I just call cheap kitchenware stuff. There's an alarm clock here. Blenders, and all about cheap blenders, don't I? You know, things like that, coffee grinder. But it's very much the style of cheap and nicer stuff that you see in the stores these days. I can even talk about that Dyson without even owning it. Well, that was a bit of a surprise, wasn't it? Sort of sounded like an ad. It wasn't, it was just a surprise. Well, I suppose you're all wondering about that box that we saw at the start of the video. Has it been repaired? Yes, it has. Well, it's nice to see things rectified. We can't let the vandals win, can we? Anyway, it's time for me to say thanks for watching and bye for now.